Matt, I just had two questions for you on the sword as well, because first of all, she says, reclaim your lordship / destiny. So question one is, did you like the inclusion of destiny? And question two, am I stupid, or is the white flame a thing? I didn't know that was the name for Narsil.
Yeah. Narsil. So Nar is fire and Thil is white light.
Deadly.
So yeah. I've been like pretty hard on this show when it comes to the callbacks, because I feel so many of them are very ham-fisted in and forced, and like the Tom Bombadil thing, for example, was my least favorite. And there's all these little callbacks. Some of them are just to the movies, even they're not even like book callbacks, so it's very obvious that they're for a show that doesn't want to be compared to the films, they remind us of the films an awful lot, and it almost never lands for me. But this is one where I don't mind it, and I actually like it, because Elendil and Aragorn are tied together in a unique way that a lot of these characters are not, from story to story. But Aragorn is the culmination. He's like the redemption of their entire line and a return to the glory of Elendil. So having these moments that connect those two characters, I don't mind it at all. It wasn't shot for shot. And I liked how, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but as the sword passes by, you get like white reflected light off the blade. And, there's such poetic language around these swords in the films, where it's described as a white flame, like when they're fighting with it. And I'm like, how do you adapt that? It's like it wielded the sword like a flame, a blade of flame. And it's like, you can't actually do like the Witch King thing and have it actually be a flame. But so that was kind of a cool little nod to like hammer home the white flame thing. And
you need it to be anime, where they have that like light kind of coming down the sword, and it goes shring.
For me, the only thing I thought, would be odd is if you had no familiarity with those films, like, would you, and even within the show, like, why is this a momentous occasion for Narsil? Like, here is Narsil, reclaim your lordship. It's like, we haven't really talked about him not embracing like the lordship of Andunier. And we definitely haven't talked about Narsil. Like, it was an Easter egg in season 1. So why is this a music swelling, sword drawing epic moment? And it's one of those where it's like, it's definitely a very intentional moment for people who've seen those movies. But, if you're going in cold and this is your first Lord of the Rings thing, you're probably thinking, why is this sword so important?
Sure. Yeah. When you were just talking there about the aligning of the two characters as well, of Elendil and Aragorn, I'm just thinking that this is the person who Aragorn shouts his name as he's like charging into battle, carrying this sword. So it's like it fits and it works, and there is that.
It makes total sense to connect these two characters, and that's why And I hope that when the time comes and the fall of Numenor happens, and Elendil steps onto the shores of Middle Earth for the first time, knowing that is where he is going to live now, that he uses the words that Aragorn uses as his coronation song. Like, that's where, Viggo and Peter Jackson pulled that from, those are the first words Elendil says when he comes to Middle Earth. Yeah. So like et erarelo utuvien sinome maruvan, that whole thing is literally the words that Elendil says when he comes to Middle Earth, and says like, here, translates to like, here I will dwell, me and my heirs, until the end of days, or something like that. So I hope he says that. And like, that would be an instance where 100%, like, by all means, reference the movies, because it makes sense. It connects those characters, and that's a moment that belongs to Elendil anyway. So like, go for it.